Okay, so I wanted to look at the energy of destiny swapping. I know how I feel about it, but when the energy's been presenting itself, it's been surprising me. So I'm gonna pull cards on it, and then if I just dropped one on the floor, and then if and then if my opinion is relevant, I'll share it. Well, I'd say not so much of an opinion as it is. Well, I guess I do have an opinion, but also, I had, in forming my opinion, run a few concepts by myself that, I'll share it with you if it's relevant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it in terms of, just a bunch more cards. Hold on. I'm going to pull it in terms of how Destiny feels about destiny swapping. So, I'm just going to put all these in order, and then I'm just going to put them out and see what's going on. All right. So the top row is going to be Destiny, and then the bottom row is going to be Destiny swapping, and then the middle row will be the energy between them. So for the top row for Destiny, we have this Three of Pentacles here. We have this Queen of Swords upside down. We have this Five of Swords. Ten of Cups. It's card number 4. We have King of Wands in reverse, card number 5. Moon in reverse, card number 6. And Four of Wands, card number 7. Destiny. Interesting. All right. Destiny swapping down below. So we have the Fool upright underneath this Three of Pentacles. We have the Eight of Cups in reverse underneath this Queen of Cups. The Queen of Swords in reverse. Interesting. Seven of Cups upright underneath the Five of Swords. I feel this microphone's in a weird spot. I'm going to move it up because I feel like my arm's hitting it, and we'll just see what happens. All right. Justice in reverse underneath the Ten of Cups. I have the Three of Wands in reverse underneath the King of Wands in reverse. I've got Death in reverse underneath the Moon in reverse, and I've got Three of Swords upright underneath the Four of Wands, and then I have the Fool and the Seven of Pentacles as extra cards. All right, hold on just a second. I was just going to say I'm not getting anything yet. That's not true. I've gotten a couple of little tiny things from it. A little separate from each other. Not as a whole yet. I'm going to grab this third set of cards here. And just take a look at this. Okay. Destiny. What does Destiny have to say? Well, okay. So when I saw this Three of Pentacles here, I picked it up as like... It's a so Destiny in terms of like from a human point of view, okay? So Destiny for us would be when we, let's say, incarnate and then have something like planned for ourselves, or maybe just, even if people don't believe in like incarnation or reincarnation, maybe just a plan for ourselves that maybe we didn't plan, but like somebody planned, okay? So to me, this is that plan. This Three of Pentacles here is the idea of the destiny, what was supposed to happen, the plan, right? Just by definition, destiny denotes that there's a plan. And then this Queen of Swords in reverse, I kind of took this as, I feel like in a sense where there would be like destiny swapping, like the idea of it, I feel like a person would perhaps have to be like envious of someone's destiny to want their destiny, or maybe just trying to get out of their own destiny, I suppose, which would still be like a narcissistic move. But this card isn't 100%, I'm not picking it up 100% like that. I'm just more picking it up like the idea of like why someone would want to change the plan, right? So Five of Swords here is typically a theft. It's funny because I just had this. So traditionally the Five of Swords is this, like, he's like trying to like pick up swords off of the battlefield and then like leave before anyone sees them, kind of thing. This one's depicted a little bit different, but this one had come up recently in another reading. It was the intelligence one, so it was like the same kind of thing. This reading reminds me a little bit of that reading, in the sense that this was supposed to be intelligence and this was artificial intelligence, and it was, how does intelligence feel about artificial intelligence, right? And we're talking about how destiny feels about destiny swapping. And then here we have this card, which is in the intelligence reading, it was the power, it was knowledge is power. And I feel, to like a certain extent, it's that like similar something here with destiny, where we said we had a plan. We know that in order to even consider the idea of destiny swapping, that we would have to either be envious of that plan or want to get out of our own. This is sort of like getting out of our own, so funny. Because I always thought of destiny swapping as like somebody coming to get like someone else's destiny. Oh, I want what they have. I want what they have. But this card is saying getting out of their own. The reason why they want to destiny swap is not because they necessarily want that person's destiny, but because they don't want to deal with their own. Okay, so that's what this card is trying to say. And then we have this here, which we said was stealing swords off the battlefield, like before the battle begins. But to a certain extent, this is coming off not so much like that, and a little bit more of that, the knowledge and the idea of the destiny and how powerful it is. So it's almost like that knowledge is power, but it's almost like, your destiny is power, or like the knowledge of your destiny is power, or their knowledge of like a destiny is power. So in other words, just understanding that there might be such thing as destiny is part of that, the whole point of this row here, which of course this is destiny, so it would make sense that it would come off that way. And then this 10 of Cups here, it's kind of like what we wish for. So when we do, like, let's say we did plan it for ourselves, or even if someone did plan it for us, they're going to plan something, hopefully that's going to be something that you want, right? A lot of times I feel like if it wasn't, we would call it something other than destiny, right? So this card is like everything that you would want. So all the traditional things that this card means, but then a lot of stuff that's not on this card, just because everybody wants different things, and some people want some things more than others, and some people don't, they don't mind a peaceful life. They just want, one thing, whatever it is, like that's what this is, right? So this is the idea behind having a destiny where you're getting what you want. And then this King of Wands sort in reverse sort of came up like this Queen of Swords in reverse. I feel like maybe this is the envy. That was getting out of what I'm having. And so now I feel like this is getting into what you're having. Yeah. The swords and the wands. So both reasons for, let's say, wanting to destiny swap. So destiny is acknowledging that. So then we have the moon in reverse, which, let's just read it for a second. It's confusion, hidden truth, deception, fear, illusion, intuition, emotional, and mystery. And it's upside down, right? And I feel like this is the destiny. This is the thing we don't know. Let's pretend that for a second that we all have a destiny, right? This is what we don't know about our each individual destinies, right? Maybe it's even what we don't know about destiny as a whole, but I'm getting that this is the unknown stuff that we want to know about our destiny. And then this again is close to this 10 of Cups energy here, where we're talking about all the things that we would want in the destiny, but this is like the happy ending, right? But it does seem like to a certain extent you have to do something to get there, which I sort of get. I feel like if you're going to have a destiny, like I feel like there is something that you have to do to get there, right? And we do still have this Seven of Pentacles and this Fool energy on the side here as these extra cards. They're both upright, and this Seven of Pentacles is an awful lot like, you know, do I want to work on this? I feel like if let's say for argument's sake that you don't want to work on it, that whatever it is you're trying to get out of, let's just say you have to heal from it, but you don't want to look at it. So you don't want to look at it to heal from it, right? To a certain extent, that destiny that we talked about, it might only be available to you in part. I was going to say in part or in whole, but that's not what I meant. It was weird. It was like the thought was there and then it was gone. But in part, if we don't want to work on it, because the part that we don't get might be linked to the thing that we didn't do. I'm looking right now at this Wheel of Fortune. So this is the third row that I was going to put on, and the Wheel of Fortune is like upright on the bottom of the deck. It's kind of like the destiny is yours. Okay, I just got many destinies. So, but it's on this concept. It's like if you do this, then you got, let's say, 10 options available to you. I'm just throwing numbers out there. I'm saying 10 options because it's under that concept of when you make a decision and then you move forward, like you have, you make another decision and you move forward, and it's kind of like that. What if you made a different decision? What's going on in that parallel universe? So let's just say it's 10, right? And then you move forward again and it's 20. And then you move forward again and it's 30. So you have all these different things that could have happened based on the decisions that you made when you were making choices, right? So I kind of feel like to a certain extent, if you don't want to work on this step, and you don't want to work on that on this step, then you kind of don't get to something that would have been bigger that you would have liked more on that, like, let's call it destiny path, because you didn't, again, do the thing that you needed to do to get that thing. You kind of sort of settled for what we would call like a lower destiny. So you got some of it, is what I'm trying to say, right? How much, whatever you put in is what you're going to get back on this Seven of Pentacles and this Fool energy, right? All right. So before we pull the third row, I might be pulling on my microphone cord here. Before we pull the third row, let's look at destiny swapping. Okay, so I feel like, yes, that is the Fool. So I thought we had it again on the table. So the Fool upright, right? Destiny swapping. So this was the idea of creating our destiny, and this is the idea of swapping it. I don't understand, okay, why if we don't want our destiny, we can't just take the other person's destiny and leave them like destinyless. Why do we have to swap it? Right? I always think of stuff like this when people come up with stuff like that. Because, what? Like, if I can take it, why do I have to give another one, you know? Because I know I'm not fooling I particularly know I'm not fooling anybody. I don't know if anybody else thinks they're fooling somebody by destiny swapping, like they're fooling God. But I don't know why, if we wanted to take it, we don't just take it, right? I feel like taking it because we want to get out of what we have and taking it because we want somebody else's stuff are two different things. I feel like in order to be like destiny swapping, we want to do both. So anyway, we'll maybe this will explain it, or that energy between it, that middle row. So the idea of destiny swapping, the beginning of the idea of it, right? And then we have this Eight of Cups in reverse. So I think what this is telling me is, so we said that this was the idea that we did not want our own destiny. We wanted to get somebody else's so we could give somebody our destiny. We don't want our destiny. I think this card is saying that the idea of destiny swapping, you cannot walk away from your own destiny. So you have to exchange it. Like someone has to live it. And then with that 5 of Swords energy, we said wasn't really cheating. It was more of like that my destiny holds some type of power. But the only reason we said my destiny holds some kind of power is because the work that I did to get myself to that, like, let's call it the fullest potential of my destiny. And I feel like this card down here, this destiny swapping, is acknowledging that there are choices. There are choices to the level of the destiny. So maybe the idea behind destiny swapping isn't just a destiny swap. It's to choose wisely who we swap with. We said envy over here, but maybe it's more than that. Maybe we're looking for specific things in a person. But that makes me wonder if people think if they swap a destiny, if they can get someone's, let's call them spiritual gifts. Because the two might be connected, but if they are, then you wouldn't be able to destiny swap anything from underneath someone because the two are connected. So as long as the person has their spiritual gift, they have that destiny. You can't take it. So again, if we're thinking that maybe we can take someone's spiritual gifts, I don't see how. I feel like if you're trying to break that contract with God, if the gifts are given by God and you're trying to break that contract with God, you can't do it through destiny. I don't even know that you can do it with God. Because if you're not the person that has the contract with God, then God can't even break that contract with someone else who isn't with the person that they have the contract with. They'd have to talk to the person they have the contract with. Meanwhile, that person is on earth fulfilling their contract. But let's keep going. So, choices. Maybe there's elevation levels to this. We want the highest one, right? 10 of Cups. All the stuff that we want on our destiny that someone might want. And then this is the idea that we can take it. We're going to quickly go through this because I want to pull the third row. I want to see what the third row has to say about this, but I don't want to skip these other rows. 3 of Wands in reverse underneath this King of Wands in reverse. So King of Wands in reverse was that wanting to take someone's destiny, to take their destiny from them. And that 3 of Wands energy upside down kind of is telling me like they don't want to do the work. It's mostly telling me they don't want to wait. But I think that the reason why they don't want to wait is because they don't want to do the work. Like if they thought, if it was all just about waiting and somebody thought they could get some, a better destiny that way, then they might just consider waiting. But we're not doing that. We're saying we don't want to wait. We don't have time for that. We don't, that's not going to work. And then we have this Moon in reverse, that thing that we said was all the things that we don't know about our destiny. So again, I'm curious as to why someone would want to, sorry, another card fell on the floor. I'm curious as to why someone would want to steal somebody else's destiny when they don't even know what it is. If the person who has the destiny doesn't fully know what it is, how would the person who's trying to steal their destiny know what it is? Cards are flipping over in here as I'm looking at this Death card in reverse. I'm just trying to see. Hold on. Dang, look at these cards. Okay, hold on. Death in reverse. So all the stuff we don't know. New beginning. I think that people who want to steal other people's destinies think that they can fill in those blanks. Whatever we don't know, we can make up, for lack of better words, but we could also live it. We can manifest it. Again, that's sort of weird to me, because then why not just manifest that destiny? Honestly, in the land of milk and honey, there's enough of that destiny to go around. Like, we honestly don't have to take it from another. So we have this. We'll pull more cards on that death. And then we have this Three of Swords underneath this Four of Wands, and that Four of Wands was like, you know, so I picked it up as a portal. I don't know if I actually said that last time, but to me, that's what finishing what you need to do to get the thing that you want is. It's kind of like doing the thing and then walking through this, you know, it's almost like an initiation, like in some way there's an energetic, you know, release or something that allows things to unlock, for lack of better words, right? Like we said, you got to do the work, or after you do the work, right? Again, this Three of Swords is just telling me I don't want to do the work. But I know that this isn't all just about not wanting to heal or whatever. So let's look at what we got down here. We got this. This is that Page of Swords. So not coming off too extremely sinister. It's just coming off to me as like, you know, this was the idea of destiny. This was the idea of, you know, swapping our destinies. And this is kind of like, I'm watching you. Obviously, I have to choose a victim, someone to take their destiny from. So I'm watching you. And then we had this wanting to cut our own destiny off. We didn't want to live it. And then not being able to just walk away from our destiny because it's painful. Now, again, if you don't grow up with the person whose destiny you're trying to take, how do you know that their you know, past wasn't painful either, and that they're just taking it better? Maybe even learning something from it, which is catapulting them to this destiny that's been promised to them. I'm trying to read it on the other side, the destiny side. Destiny just looks at it as part of the process. What is this? Two of Cups in reverse on top of this Seven of Cups upright underneath this Five of Swords upright. I'm getting that this is saying that people don't really want a destiny swap for love. That's weird. I never thought of it. We said different reasons, I guess. Love specifically wasn't on the table. Not love. So what? Like money? Three of Pentacles is the idea of the destiny. Right? Otherwise, I don't see a whole lot of pentacles on the table. No real anything stands out. I mean, if you looked at the overall energy, it really just looks like normal stuff that you would expect when you like incarnate, I guess. Like what you'd go through in a life, what you might learn, what might be painful, you know, what you might want to like. So here's this everything we wanted, and this wanting to take it underneath this this victory card upside down. Yeah, I'm just taking this as a big red stop sign. The card itself is red, probably because it's wands. It's upside down, but it's like not a victory. That's not be defeated, failure, loss, delay. Lose victory, the opponent prevails, the other wins. Okay, so I just got the notion, with this like justice in reverse. It looks like it snaps back, like something. What was that word? The opponent prevails, the other wins. Let's pull the last three. Oh, I have one already. This is the Five of Cups in reverse. on this, wanting someone else's stuff, not being able to wait. Again, there's sadness. Now here we are with the Lovers. So we got this unknown. Okay, so yes, we're definitely going to pull more cards on this row. I'm taking that as the unknown. Wanting to fill in the blanks. Maybe wanting to be someone else so we can attract that love. What is this? 3 of Cups. 3 of Cups, and then the Queen of Swords upright, or sorry, in reverse as an extra card. So Queen of Swords again as an extra card. I'm getting that this thing does not look the way everyone says it looks. Like if someone was to go online, I don't know, for some reason, one video popped up, and they've popped up before, like even for years now, but one video had popped up the other day, and then a bunch of these other videos popped up on my feed for some weird reason, and everybody was like explaining it, and I just was kind of like, you know, how many minutes is it taking for everybody to talk about something that's bogus? Like it's like I said, I have my ideas behind it. Like I said, if my contract is with God, a lot of times for me, when I want to decide if something is right for me, or if it's something that I want to do, like if, you know, I'm trying to figure out the morality of it or just whatever, I'll envision a conversation with God, like after my, you know, when I'm done, right? And I'll be like having like defending why I made that choice or whatever. And if I can't defend why I make that choice, then I don't do it. It's just, I know in the end I don't have to defend it with God. I have to defend it with myself. So again, why try to BS myself into thinking that I did it for one reason when I know I did it for another? Like, I'm just not going to do it. So it's kind of like, at the end of the day, that you can't like cheat your way through what's going on. And so same conversation, God, you know, hey, we had this contract and you promised me this stuff, and what happened? You know, don't tell me that God tells me that Sally took my destiny. You know, sorry for you. Because then nobody would agree. Nobody would do this over here because they wouldn't trust the process. They would be like, no, I'm not doing that. Every time I do that, you know, Jessica takes my destiny and I don't get to do what I came to do. I'm not doing that anymore. Nobody would do it. First of all, it's bad business. But second of all, if I have some type of gift or some reason why someone would want my destiny, and let's say it didn't snap back, what's to stop me from going back and getting it again? Just getting it back, right? And then, you know, again, the idea of, let's say none of that happens and the person just gets to keep it. Again, how is that explained later on in heaven with, what happened to my destiny? I thought we were doing this. Oh, yeah. When you didn't believe in destiny swapping, somebody took your stuff. Now, a lot of times, even if I don't believe in something, I believe in the concept of it. Like, I believe that people believe in it. Let's put it that way. And so I'm pretty much like a human lie detector now. So when I go through stuff, I can kind of figure out what the root thing is. Sometimes I see people arguing about stuff and they don't even really care about that thing. It's about something else, and I can see it. So for this particular thing, when I first thought of the conversation with God and how plausible that is or isn't, and taking your destiny back or anything else, you know, the concept came up about belief systems. And people have said, you know, oh, well, in a situation where there's something, you know, dangerous or spiritually dangerous or whatever, like, I assume I'm already protected. First of all, I wouldn't assume something like that. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because, you know, some people would say, well, I don't believe in destiny swapping. I don't believe in that. That's not going to, that can't happen to me because I don't believe in that. Well, to a certain extent, yes. But you can't uncreate something that does exist that you don't believe in, right? So the best way that I can explain that is, when I was seeing energy, there was certain things I didn't believe in that I saw. I didn't create that. I didn't make it. In fact, if I would have created it, it would have looked different. So you can't deny what's there, right? You can not believe in it, and that's fine, and then you probably wouldn't see it. But that doesn't mean that it's not there. But what you can't do is you can't affect someone else's experience. Because technically, when you're on this planet, you're living within your own experience. So you can't actually affect someone else's experience, right? If you can, it's because they're letting you. It's because their belief in destiny swapping is allowing, they're giving up the power to be destiny swapped. So concept real, sure, but it's as real as you want to make it. It's as real as you want it to be. If somebody was trying to destiny swap with you and their vibration was really low and your vibration was really high, whatever, voodoo or whatever they try to, just use that as a universal description, but whatever they threw at you, it wouldn't even touch you because you're not even on the same wavelength. So, but this is kind of telling me that something rubber bands back. I haven't heard anybody talking about this. I haven't watched, 800 videos on destiny swapping because I kind of, when something isn't 100% true, I just kind of consider it poison. I'm not trying to listen to a bunch of stuff that's not true because somebody wants to make a video. Like I said, the concept, I can't see it at all. And there's other reasons too that I'm not going to mention in this video, but it's just preference. There's just other reasons why that point towards preference, that the person whose destiny would be getting swapped, the things that they don't know about it, they may not even be necessarily asking for a whole lot. Like I said, there's what is it that you know about it that the other person that has it doesn't know about it that makes you want theirs? Because again, if you're trying to get out of your own and you don't want to keep trying to get out of your own, wouldn't you want to make sure that you grab somebody's that you didn't want to get out of later? Six of Swords. Getting out of it later. You'd have to have some kind of plan. You have Knight of Pentacles in reverse. There is no other plan. The plan is destiny swapping. Destiny swap, we don't like it, we destiny swap again. Seven of Pentacles in reverse, Two of Cups in reverse. I was just getting ready to pull on this Death card and this Lovers too. I'm Seven of Pentacles, Two of Cups. We said over here that we don't do this because we want to get someone's love. Like, let's say we swap with their destiny because they have this person, but we want that person. We're not doing that. What's with this Moon in reverse and this Death in reverse? Oh, here we go with the Lovers. So, Eight of Swords, Nine of Wands in reverse. This is telling me if you want to believe it. But this is just like everybody. This is just like everything else. This isn't specific to destiny swapping. This is like kind of like if you want to get into something that's going to tie you up for a little bit, it's going to make you believe, make you lose your power a little bit, maybe make you think you don't have a control in, over your existence, or maybe your love life, or your destiny in general, which can affect all of these things. Because even if I'm feeling great about everything, but I feel bad about my love life and I think I need to, do something about my destiny, that's going to kind of make everything else that I think is going great not work so well if I keep going on that belief system. So again, we're talking about belief systems. We're talking about if we want to buy into the idea of destiny swapping, oh my God, somebody must have taken my destiny because things are going, different than they used to, or I don't feel like I used to, or, that I was about to have something and then it slipped through my fingers. That this is stuff we want to believe. We can hang ourselves up with it for a day, a year, or a decade. We can die with that concept if we want. And the funny thing is if it is our destiny, we can end up getting our destiny anyway and not realizing it because we wanted to believe something else. This 9 of Wands upside down. And so it's like it's trapped. It's like it's stuck to you, but it doesn't take up any like weight. Sorry, that was a weird way to put it. It's stuck to you, but it doesn't take up any weight. So it's yours. Like you don't even really know it's there. What is this? Page of Cups. Okay. See, so love wasn't coming up, but we had the 2 of Cups in reverse twice, and we said people don't do this for love, and I was like, okay, fine, why do you got to reiterate yourself? And then we were over here with the Lovers, right? And this 3 of Cups too sometimes will come off funny like that, but it was just kind of like, no, here we are, we're not really doing this for love. And then this Page of Cups came up. And I think that because before I was looking for what was on the table, we said there wasn't very many pentacles, and then we said it was kind of a mixture of things, but there were swords, and there was swords, and there was cups, right? And I'm looking at these cups and these wands, and I was like, well, there's a mixture of everything, but the cups keep kind of coming, like standing out. And like the Lovers, and I think it's because the idea is that when you do get through that destiny and you get to that stuff that you want, it is done through love. It is done through like maybe healing your heart, or just through. It's not done through trickery or through connivery or I feel like you could camp onto someone else's destiny with love. Like we already have talked about, like scattered in other videos, and other people have talked about it too, how like when you align yourself with people who aren't like good people, and you kind of get their karma. Well, this is kind of like if you align yourself with good people, like in the sense of love, you can get their destiny. You're in love, and and the person that you're in love with is really brilliant, and maybe they just need a little bit of like reinforcement, and then they do something really good, and they bring in a lot of money, and your job is just to take care of the kids, and then you just realize, oh, that's what I wanted my whole life. It's not that complicated. I mean, some people probably have complicated destinies, but sometimes it seems like the people who are the most talented or get the most out of things. Well, I was going to say work for it, but it wasn't 100% work for it. It was more like it comes easy to them. Yes, they work for it, but it's kind of like they fall into it, or it's like, it almost looks like it's handed to them. You don't see everything that they do to get themselves to that, right? We got that World upside down, and we have that 10 of Cups upside down. I think it's like the idea of destiny swapping, like, how do I put it? It's like, if I don't, we were over here with not wanting to work on ourselves, or not wanting to heal, or not wanting to, maybe it seems too hard to do the thing that we need to do to get what we want, so we want to swap it with somebody else. But it's kind of like, all we have to really, we could just do that with our own situation. Like, we could literally jump to like a different spot. Like we could, if we didn't like our destiny, we could probably change it. If we didn't like our destiny, there's a possibility that there's a misconception. We have a misconception of what our destiny is. Because we wouldn't we might set ourselves out for a life of like pain or something to learn something about our destiny. But I feel like if we're doing that, then we're more set up to like endure as opposed to being in a mode of, hey, who can I pawn this off on and what can I get out of it, kind of a thing. I guess I'm just having a hard time expressing the fact that I don't understand the point. Like, as someone who, if you think that you can manifest someone else's destiny, why not like just manifest what you want in your own? Why not just manifest whatever you want? Why take it from another unless you're trying to, unless you want to walk down a path where you take things from others? Like, and then I feel like it has nothing to do with destiny swapping. We could do this with a lot of things. I don't know. To me, it just seems like a reason to make videos. It's almost like Destiny talked more about destiny swapping than destiny swapping did. Like, destiny swapping isn't even like, it's represented in cards, but it's like the energy isn't even really present on the table. It's just like logic and reasoning. Well, you could believe that if you want. You can sit around in it for a little while, and you can even, you know, be sad about it and make choices, try to get yourself out of it, and, you know, be upset at the other person, whoever you think did this to you. Or maybe somebody called you up and said, I swapped destinies with you, and you said, oh, that person took whatever I was supposed to have. That would be this and this. How would you know that? If you didn't know what this was and you hadn't met this person, how would you know they took it? And then what? Whoever you meet is like the second best person because somebody took your destiny already and it's all blown to hell? Sorry. I don't know. I feel like manifestation's the answer. I feel like if I was really that low, I could try to get myself out of it before I would ever try to do this, get somebody's attention and do all this other stuff with borrow power. Because there's no reason why I would use God's power to do something like this at all. Keep that in mind. You need to be careful too before I leave. If you believe in the concept of destiny swapping, then you believe in other concepts. As far as like, again, taking things from people. You know, to a certain extent, it's all throwing stuff on people. The best advice that I ever heard was be careful who you go after because you never know who's protected. And not only do you never know who's protected, but you never know what's protecting them. Or who's protecting them. Or both. Or what's going on. Again, like I said, if you're trying to go after somebody's destiny and that person has a contract with God, you know, I mean, the best I can tell you is good luck. Good luck. Good luck with that. Good luck answering for that later on when that thing rubber bands back, because I did see that. Keep that in mind. Until next time.